Islamic Republic of Afghanistan legislature judiciary. The Afghan mujahideen were the various armed Islamist rebel groups that fought together against both the Soviet Union and the government of the Democratic Republic of Afghanistan during the Soviet-Afghan War and the subsequent First Afghan Civil War. The term mujahideen is derivation from Dari word dushman, which turned into shodduk and also was suitable due to their guerrilla tactics. Afghan civilians often refer to them as the Tanzim. The militants of the Afghan mujahideen were recruited and organized immediately after the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan in 1979, and initially comprised the regular Afghan population as well as defectors from the Afghan military, with the aim of waging an armed struggle against both the Communist Government of the People's Democratic Party of Afghanistan that had taken power in the 1978 Sur Revolution and the Soviet Union that had invaded the country in support of the former. While there were a large number of factions with ideological differences comprising the mujahideen, the most influential were the Jamiat-e-Islami and Hezb-e-Islami Gulbuddin parties. The Afghan mujahideen were generally divided into two distinct alliances. The largest and most significant Sunni Islamic Union, collectively referred to as the Peshawar 7, based in Pakistan, and the significantly smaller Shia Islamic Union, collectively referred to as the Tehran 8, based in Iran. The Sunni Peshawar 7 alliance received heavy assistance from the United States, the United Kingdom, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, China, as well as other countries and private international donors. The basic units of the mujahideen continued to reflect the highly decentralized nature of Afghan society and strong loci of competing Pashtun tribal groups, which had formed a union with other Afghan groups under intense American, Saudi Arabian and Pakistani pressure. The alliance sought to function as a united diplomatic front towards the international community, and sought representation in the United Nations and the Organization of the Islamic Conference. The Afghan mujahideen also saw thousands of volunteers from various Muslim countries arrive in Afghanistan to aid the resistance. The majority of the mujahideen's international fighters came from the Arab world, and later became known as Afghan Arabs. The most well-known Arab financier and militant of the group during this period was Osama bin Laden, who would later mastermind the September 11 attacks of 2001 on the United States. The mujahideen guerrillas fought a long and costly war against the Soviet military, which suffered heavy losses and withdrew from the country in 1989, after which the rebels' war against the communist Afghan government continued. The loosely aligned mujahideen took the capital city of Kabul in 1992 following the collapse of the Moscow-backed government. However, the new mujahideen government that was formed by the Peshawar Accords following these events was quickly fractured by rival factions and became severely dysfunctional. This unrest quickly escalated into a second civil war, which saw the large-scale collapse of the United Afghan Mujahideen and the victorious emergence of the Taliban, which established the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan shortly after taking most of the country in 1996. The Taliban groups were then ousted in 2001, but managed to regroup and retake the country in 2021. Small groups of resistance formed in parts of eastern Afghanistan by the fall of 1978. But it was in early 1979 when the situation rapidly escalated to open rebellion. As early as February 2, 1979, it was reported that Afghan dissidents were receiving guerrilla training across the border in Pakistan. The conflict reached a height during the Herat Mutiny in March, in which a non-organized group of army mutineers and civilians rebelled and briefly overthrew the city garrison. The incident and subsequent air bombardment gave indications of looming civil war. Sibghatullah Mojadedi, a leader of Islamic mysticism and a Hazrat, was one of the original leaders of an organized anti-government armed group. He created an organization named Afghan National Liberation Front. Mawlavi Muhammad Nabi Muhammadi, a religious scholar and former member of parliament in the kingdom, formed the revolutionary Islamic movement. He was well known for assaulting prominent leftist Babrak Karmal inside the house of representatives in 1966. On August 11, 1979, the Afghan National Liberation Front along with 3 other groups formed a new organization based in Peshawar, Pakistan, aiming to establish an Islamic republic. Other rebel movements were also active throughout the country, including Hazara tribes that had some 5,000 men as of August 1979. A broad mujahideen had de facto existed as a political bloc since May 1979, when the Pakistani government decided to limit the flow of foreign financial aid, mainly from the